Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your presence. We would like to thank to Unihispania organization that invite us to present this communication in this auditorium, and we are going to make this the introduction, me and Zubiria. Zubiria in real life is teaching in Basque Country University and is an expert on the new technologies on education, and there's a large CV on working in this area.
Let me introduce Barack Zapatero. Firstly, I have to say that he's not a relative or president of the United States. In real life, he's a professor at Lisbon University. He's an expert in new technologies and new methodologies applied to educational science. His curriculum has a large list of international communications, keynotes and invited sessions, and also he has a big expertise delivering postgrad online courses. As a researcher, he is looking for new forms to teach. He has integrated virtual classroom in his courses, and now he finds Second Life as a new technology to be considered as a new resource for education.
But now let us invite Madame Curie and Professor Einstein to make the speech. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your presence, and thank you for inviting us to present and debate about Second Life as a virtual learning environment. We will follow these topics: what is learning, what is teaching, Second Life as a virtual learning environment, Second Life in distance and presence learning, and conclusions. Let us start by what is learning. We will reflect about knowledge standards and the learning process from the neurophysiological point of view and according to the learning styles. During several decades, knowledge has three phases: knowledge and knowing, knowledge and doing, and knowledge progressing, let's say growing and improving your knowledge. But today there is an enormous amount of information. Some decades ago, when you want to get some information, you have to go to a library, ask for a book, and sometimes you had to wait several weeks to get it. Today, we go to the internet, we use a browser, and we find not one information, not one book, but thousands of it. So, the main problem today is knowing how to find the information and how to select it. So the amount of information is so much that what is important is knowing that it exists and after selecting it. Another thing is the learning process according to the neurophysiological point of view and the learning styles. Let's have a look. Our brain has two areas. One is rational, which reflects the deductive and reflexive point of view, and another is the emotional area, which is inductive and concerning feelings and emotions. And from front to back, we have to see that our brain has two levels. One is working memory and another is long-term memory. Let's see how does it works when the research has been done in order to typify several areas of the brain. Some comments started in 18th century, but Brodeman in the beginning of the 20th century points several areas of the brain with different perceptions. In fact, there was no possibility from the scientific point of view to make a demonstration of this thesis, and only in the last decade of the 20th century we could find a theory supported by practical instruments and technical information which shows us that the brain was divided in several important areas related with speaking, with vision, with auditing, audio and understanding. And this was developed by Antonio Damasio, which is a researcher living in Ohio University, and confirmed by Joan Stiles just in the beginning of the 21st century. Today lots of information are developed about this. But how does our brain learns? Everything around us is like a large scenery, and the things are running and we don't see, let's say, in a conscious way, up till a moment that click starts, and this click just say to you that start recording. And when you start recording, all the information is just captured, and in a certain moment you say this is not important and you erase it, or you say this is very important and you convert it from working memory to long-term memory. And this you can, and from this you can make your metacognition and reorganize all your memories and your information. But we have as well two approaches. One is the emotional and another is the logical, as we have been pointing before. This is the general, in a very short and simple way, the way our brain learns. This is important for us as teachers to understand the process and what is going to be happen in our brain's students. If we know that emotional side of the brain works 10 times faster than the logical side, why don't we feel back more in more fun activities using teaching and appeals lessons to reason with the pedagogical games and Second Life introduction? Daniel Goldman treated this very well and very deeply, and his work about working with emotional intelligence. And this can be an important approach to make a new revolution on education. Let's see more deeply about this along of our presentation. Do we have questions from the auditorium?